I spoke about a Coalition for Smart Justice, which is a group that has come together to take a look at the incarceration rate of adults and juveniles in this state, and we're trying to convince the legislature that we can have a safe society and divert many of these people, both adults and children, out of the criminal justice system and get them services instead and try to help make them a productive citizens again at a cost less than what it costs to put them in a prison bed for a year. We came about because of this whole issue of cutting the state budget and where were you going to cut it. And it was obvious to us, and working with Florida Tax Watch last December, we worked over the Christmas holidays about looking about where we could cut state government. And the first place that Tax Watch and AIF synced on was this idea that the Department of Corrections was going to build 3 new private prisons. And we just reached 100,000 prisoners in the state of Florida. And we thought that the better use of that money was not to build those prisons, save the construction dollars, save the operational dollars, and spend it instead on diverting people on the front end, providing faith-based and character-based services to prisoners while they're in prison, and then providing a reentry program to help them get back into society so they can become productive citizens. The way that we're doing it is we were able, with the help of 2 judges, Melanie May of the drug courts and Judge Steve Leifman of the mental health courts, we were able to convince the 2 appropriation chairs, both of them Republicans by the way, Victor Christ in Tampa and Sandy Adams in Seminole County. We were able to convince them to take some of the dollars and put it on the front end in diversion. And if we could divert enough people and save dollars in that fashion, in other words, giving them services instead of putting them in prison, that if we could show savings, that they would then be inclined to put those in the reentry, the back end, when these people are starting to come back into society. Every obstacle is out there before us. I mean, we have a legislature that's disinclined to do that. Nobody wants to be perceived as being soft on crime. Nobody wants to be perceived as doing something for people that have done something bad. Why aren't we doing things for people that do good? There is just every impediment possible. You have a Department of Corrections whose business is to incarcerate people and build prisons and grow their system. So there's a lot of impediments in the status quo that we're going to have to overcome, and this isn't going to be done in a year or 2. This is going to be a long-term effort. The time to start, Armando, is now, because we have a fiscal crisis that says we can't afford to keep building prisons. We got to do business in a different way with respect to these prisoners and to juvenile justice kids that are going to be in those programs. Right now, for every prisoner that leaves prison, the average is within 2 years, 33% of them are going to go back. After 5 years, half of them are going to go back. For them to go back, they had to commit a crime. That means a new victim, or victims, plural. And so it's not just about what it costs, it's about what we can do for our society. We can make it a safer place without having to live behind walls and gated communities and locking up everybody for every little thing that they possibly do. Having said that, we're not in favor of releasing anybody early, and we're absolutely demanding that every prisoner serves 85% of their sentence. There are a lot of people that don't need to be in prison to begin with because they're not danger to society or to themselves. They've committed a crime. They need to serve a sentence. They maybe need to do that in a secure facility, a place where there's barbed wire, where their environment is controlled for them. But it doesn't have to be in a prison bed where it costs an extraordinary amount of money every day to put them there.